Hey there guys, and welcome back to the channel. As always, thank you so much for joining me here. So just before we get going on this video, I just want to quickly dive into some housekeeping. Going forward, in the next couple of weeks, I'm going to start experimenting on the channel with a few different subjects. We are primarily a movie and streaming news channel, but I do want to start talking about other things here that I think you guys may find interesting. And one of the big topics that's on everybody's mind worldwide at the moment is the subject of AI. It's a big conversation piece, and I thought you guys would find this story particularly interesting. So this story comes to us from PC Gamer. ChatGPT faces legal complaint after user inputted their own name and found it accused them of made-up crimes. So, just like everybody else, we all go onto these chatbots from time to time and we just type in random things just to see what kind of response we get. And this guy, probably out of boredom, he was checking his own name, searching for himself to see what it would come up with, and ChatGPT basically sprouted out a load of information saying that this guy had basically committed murders and accusing him of all these crimes. But not only that, it kind of infused real life information into these made up accusations as well, making this information all the more kind of destructive to this guy's life. So this is kind of a crazy story. So let's get into it, let's break it down and see exactly what happened here. So AI hallucinations are a well-documented phenomenon, as large language models are only making their best guess at which word is most likely to come next and don't understand things like context. They're prone to simply making stuff up. Yeah, so a large language model, when you have a phone and you have predictive text on your phone and your phone tries to determine which word you're going to use next in the sentence, a large language model is very much like that, but a more sophisticated, buffed up version where it's trying to determine which word to put next. It's trying to determine, kind of how to progress the conversation onto the next step. So it's like a more advanced version of a predictive text. Between fake cheese facts and stomach-churning medical advice, that's where AI becomes super dangerous, when it's putting out misleading medical information. That's really bad. Disinformation like this may be funny, but it's far from harmless. Now, they may actually be legal recourse. So this is the story here where it gets ridiculously insane. A Norwegian man called Arvi Holman, recently struck up a conversation with ChatGPT to see what information OpenAI's chatbot would offer when he typed in his own name. He was horrified when ChatGPT allegedly spun a yarn falsely claiming he'd killed his own sons. Yeah, I'm going to read that again. ChatGPT allegedly spun a yarn falsely claiming he'd killed his own sons and been sentenced to 21 years in prison. The creepiest aspect around the story of the made-up crime, ChatGPT included some accurate, identifiable details about Holman's personal life, such as number and gender of his children, as well as the name of his hometown. So it didn't only put out fake information about him murdering his own children, but it infused real life information into the made up story and allegations at the same time. Which kind of, if someone was looking at it from the outside perspective, because it's got real information in there about the number and gender of his children, someone may see that as real information, and then they may mistakenly think that the accusation of him murdering his children and going to prison, they may think that that was real as well. But this is just insane beyond belief. Could you imagine people reading this and thinking that this guy actually murdered his own children? This could destroy someone's life. And this is the kind of stuff we have to deal with now that AI has become so prevalent in everyday life. And it's just crazy, crazy stuff. So, the privacy rights advocacy group, NOYB, soon got involved. The organization told TechCrunch they carried out their own investigation as to why ChatGPT could be outputting these claims, checking to see if perhaps someone with a similar name had committed serious crimes. Ultimately, they could not find anything substantial along these lines, so the why behind ChatGPT's hair-raising output remains unclear. Yeah, it's very, very bizarre. Was there some sort of error in the coding or something? What exactly happened? How do things like this happen? And it's very, very worrying. It makes me want to search up my own name after I finish this video now to see if any false information is being put onto my name. Guys, I would do the same if I were you. Go onto ChatGPT or Grok or whatever chatbot you want to use. Search up your name and see if there's any kind of misleading information attached to your name. I think it's something quite worrying, and I think it's something we need to search up. So I would probably recommend doing that when you got the spare time. So the chatbot's underlying AI model has since been updated, and now it no longer repeats the defamatory claims. However, NOYB have previously filed complaints on the grounds of ChatGPT outputting inaccurate information about public figures. It was not satisfied to close the book here. The organization has now filed a complaint with this company here, the Norwegian Data Protection Authority, on the grounds that ChatGPT violated GDPR. Yeah, so when it comes to GDPR, that's laws to do with private information, like digital information, and how it's protected under the law when it comes to private citizens and companies and things like that. I'm not a lawyer, I'm not that educated in the law when it comes to protection of information and stuff like that, but I would say ChatGPT putting out defamatory statements like this, whether it was a mistake or an error in the coding, whatever happened, it's definitely a breach of someone's private rights to have defamatory comments being made against them, information kind of touted around on these kind of chatbots, and how this falls under the law and what exactly the fine could be, I'm not sure, but it'd be interesting to find out how that actually works. So under Article 5(1)(d) of the EU law, companies possessing personal information have to ensure that it's accurate, and if it's not accurate, it must either be corrected or deleted. NOYB makes this the case that just because ChatGPT has stopped falsely accusing Holman of being a murderer, that doesn't mean that the data has been deleted. So yeah, that data where they're falsely accusing him of being a murderer, that could still be floating around on the back end in the coding. That could be still in the information somewhere. And someone who's searching his name in the future, it could potentially crop up again if that information hasn't been deleted or edited to some degree. So I understand the complaint that they're making there. So someone put in here, ChatGPT can make mistakes, consider checking important information. You're absolutely right. When I strive to provide information and helpful information, I can still make mistakes. It's always a good idea to double check critical details, especially when it comes to important decisions of complex topics. If you ever spot something that doesn't seem quite right, feel free to ask for clarification or let me know. So yeah, it goes on about that it tries to be accurate and stuff, but it still puts out false information. It's just basically a predictive text model that tries to put out information. It has no idea. ChatGPT has no idea whether the information it's putting out is accurate or not. It's just a predictive text model. That's basically all it is. It doesn't care if the information is right or not. That's not what it's there for. So NOYB wrote, the incorrect data may still remain as part of the large language model's dataset. By default, ChatGPT feeds user data back into the system for training purposes. This means there is no way for the individual to be absolutely sure that this output can be completely erased unless the entire AI model is retrained. So yeah, like I already said, the information is still floating around on the back end of this large language model, and it could potentially crop up again. But I have no idea if they could delete that or get rid of it. It's probably impossible to do that by now. NOYB also alleges that by its nature, ChatGPT does not comply with Article 15 of GDPR. Simply put, there's no guarantee that you can call back whatever you feed into ChatGPT or see whatever data about you has been fed into its dataset. On this point, NOYB shares this fact understandably still causes distress and fear of the complainant Holman. To be honest, it causes distress and fear to me, to be honest. I'm actually worried now about what kind of information these chatbots have on me and what kind of false defamatory comments they could be adding to my name. I'm actually quite worried now. At present, NOYB are requesting that this company here, I have no idea how you say this, they are requesting that OpenAI to delete the inaccurate information about Holman, the guy that we're talking about, and the company ensures ChatGPT can't hallucinate another horror story about someone else. Given OpenAI's current approach is merely displaying the disclaimer ChatGPT can make mistakes, consider checking important information in tiny font at the bottom of each user session. This is perhaps a tall order. So yeah, they put that, a little terms and conditions thing at the bottom just to get around these kind of legal loopholes. So if they put out any misleading information, you basically can't sue them because they've got this small print at the bottom. And a lot of companies do that on all their products. They have the little terms and conditions at the bottom. They know no one's going to read it, but basically if you've looked at it, then you can't sue them because it's on the packaging or whatever. And ChatGPT are doing the same thing here. Still, I'm glad to see NOYB apply legal pressure to OpenAI, especially as the US government has seemingly thrown caution to the wind and gone all in on AI, the Stargate infrastructure plan, when ChatGPT can easily output defamatory claims right alongside accurate identifying information. A crumb of caution feels like less than a bare minimum. Yeah, an absolute horror story if there ever was one. I mean, being falsely accused of killing your own children, I mean, can you even imagine what could be worse than having that attached to your name? That's really bad. Imagine if this guy in the future goes to apply for a job and someone searches up his name on ChatGPT and that gets thrown up when a future employer searches this guy's name on ChatGPT and it comes up with that. Could you even imagine what the response would be? It could potentially destroy someone's life, having this kind of information, faulty information, being linked to your name. But guys, that's my first kind of AI talk here on the channel. Did you find this video interesting? Let me know what you think. If you would like to see more of this type of content on the channel, jump down into the comment section. Let me know your thoughts, comments, and opinions on this story as well. I'd love to hear your feedback on what you think about this. Are you going to be searching up your name on ChatGPT to make sure that this doesn't happen to you? I think it's worth doing, guys. As always, thanks so much for being here. Make sure you hit the like button before you leave. Consider becoming a subscriber of the channel if you haven't done so far. It goes a long way to supporting my content, so I always appreciate that. And I will see you, as always, in the next video.